Sylvester Stallone is back, but this time he is the king of Tulsa, or something to that effect. I have words, and I think Mike has words, and special guest Jacob has words. So let's see what happens today on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first.
I'll talk first. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, who I always say has got some kind of awesome beard action going on, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom Land.
And we've got special guest Mike. Would you please introduce our special guest? Because he's been on the show before, but I wasn't there. Thanks for filling in for me, Jacob, by the way.
Yes, we have returning guest Jacob. Jacob is the creator of, I can never get your comic book's name correct. I am so sorry. Costa, help me with this.
Cosa Nostra's comrade.
Thank you. Cosa Nostra comrade. So he is our resident gangster geek.
Jacob, thanks for being with us today, man. It's great to have you.
It's great to be here again. It's finally nice to be here with you, Stephen. You know, it's finally to have the the trio with the guests, but the duo with the host. So
thank you.
Yeah. What's interesting is everybody is there's been jokes flying back and forth on that I was trying to avoid Jacob, and I wasn't.
I didn't
At least
hear
that's what he tells us.
I didn't hear these rumors, but I have heard about the files, but I haven't personally seen them myself. Jacob,
how do you pronounce your last name?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, I love to do this, and if I can put you on the spot, are you okay with that? And I will not get offended.
Yes.
How do you think it's pronounced?
Ruchser.
I think we did this. Last time too.
Yeah,
it's.
I would have said Ruchser.
What would you say? I'm sorry.
Ruchser.
That is like the most common way that people think it's pronounced. So it's German. So the CH is a K sound. Everybody, when they look at it, it's very, because there's also a German name that's Ruchser that is very similar in spelling, and the S comes before the CH in Ruchser. So it's very easy to do that. So people see the CHS and they want to put that S in front of the CH.
Yes.
In Germany, the CH is like a K sound, and so it's Ruchser. So the best way I always say is to remember it as Rucksir. But listen. I didn't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, but yes. I've been I've gotten call. I remember being a little kid. We get calls to the house on the home phone. For those of you who may not know what a home phone is, they were these that were connected to the wall. Some of them had cords and you couldn't go very far. Some of them did not have cords and you could roam freely, but only so far. We
all stretched those cords out too far too.
Oh, absolutely. Stretched them to the max. Sometimes they popped right out of the phone. But the good news is you plug it right back in and your caller was still there, if I remember correctly.
No, you're right. You're right.
A telemarketer called once. I was a little kid and I answered the phone. My parents taught me how to answer the phone properly and what you say and this and that. And there was a lot of adults out there that didn't like children answering the phone. I work on the phones for a living. So sometimes when children answered the phone, yes, it can be, whatever. And kids have phones nowadays because everybody's got a cell phone. But a telemarketer called in and they said, can I speak with Mr. or Mrs. Ruckford? And I'm like, where did the F, the O, and the D come from, and what happened to the C and the H? And the guy, I said that to the guy. I kid you not, I was like 9 years old, and he's like, "Is Mr. or Mrs. Ruckford there?" And I was like, "Who?" And I just kept saying, "Who?" And then he yelled something at me and hung up. And I said, like, "You're a loser," or something like that. And my dad was like, "Who was that?" I'm like, "A telemarketer."
No harm, no foul.
Oh gosh, that's funny. That's funny.
Okay.
Well, hey, for those that may not know you, like this is our first time meeting you and stuff. Tell us about the comic and kind of your role and what you've been doing.
So the comic Cosa Nostra's Comrade, it's about it takes place in the early 80s. It's about a ex-Soviet special forces soldier. They're primarily known today as Spetsnaz, and they were known as Spetsnaz back then. Our main character, Andrei, served in the, this is actually, some of it's historical fiction. He served in the Russian invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 and in the early 80s. And for some reason, he mysteriously relocated to Brooklyn, New York. It's now 1983. And we don't know why he's now all of a sudden went from being in the Russian invasion of Afghanistan to all of a sudden, a couple years later, now being in Brooklyn, New York with no explanation. How did he get there? Why is he there? Why isn't he still in Russia? Why is he not still serving in the military? But long story short, he has an encounter where something happens and he unintentionally gets a job with the Italian-American mafia. So it's called Cosa Nostra's Comrade because if you know anything about the mafia, Cosa Nostra means our thing in Sicilian and Italian, and that's what they called themselves, is Cosa Nostra. And so the mafia is Cosa Nostra. Comrade is a very common word said by, Russians and, people generally living in that Eastern European area, or parts of the old Soviet Union. Comrade is very common. Anybody who knows pop culture from the 80s too, we've all heard Comrade thrown around. I even met a lovely Ukrainian woman actually at my first comic book signing a couple months ago on Free Comic Book Day on May 3rd, and she was teaching me how to speak Russian and everything. It was actually very interesting. So I thought, because the big thing to me was not only the story, but the name. It's like, what do you call this? So the mafia is Cosa Nostra. What do Russians say? They say comrade. You can easily associate that to Russians. And what does comrade also mean? It means friend. So what is our main character? He is a friend to the mafia. So Cosa Nostra's comrade.
I love it. That's a great premise. Just to know, of course, coming to New York where all the immigrants would come or whatever, and that kind of place, but then get involved with the mafia and stuff. So very cool.
And I don't want to dominate, we don't know what's happening with him. Like I said, we don't know why he's in New York. We don't know why he's deciding to, go along with taking on the job offer of this mafia family. And we don't know his history. So there's a lot to be explored. And very, very exciting. And it is adult. There's nothing XXX in there, but there is cussing and gore and stuff like that. So I mean, it is an adult comic book.
Comic. Jacob, where's the best place if anybody wants to kind of look you up or see your work or order your work? Where's the best place that they can find you?
So you would have to go to kingdomcomics.com. It's like kingdom, but it's spelled differently. It's spelled like key, K-E. So it's www.keynGDOM comics.com. Excuse me. If you go to it, it should be mainly like a dark background, and there should be like a white tower with a little flag that says Kingdom.
Is that the right spelling I put on the screen?
KEYNGDOM. Yep.
Yeah, KEYNGDOM.
And if you go to my whoever has it, if you go to my Instagram, if you type in my name as you see it on screen, you'll find me on Instagram. The link to the website is the links right on my Instagram as well, too.
And you'll also find our friend Joffrey.
Yes. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Joffrey. I feel like a jerk. Joffrey is one of the primary reasons that I was able to do this. Mike and I talked a great deal about that in the first show. Joffrey also co-wrote the book, did a lot of graphic design, ran the Kickstarter, so it's definitely a Kingdom Comics production, and he helped me form my kind of, you saw the RKR Ruchser. That's kind of like I'm not comparing myself to this man by any means, like James Tynion, he has Tiny Onion. I guess you could say RKR Ruchser is kind of like my Tiny Onion, whereas Joffrey has Kingdom, but I would consider myself, and if you ask Joffrey, he'll agree, like, I may be my own separate, I wanted to brand myself. So that's what I did by creating that. And the RKR stands for Rare Key Runs. So I kind of took some comic book terminology, threw it together, relettered my last name, and it also has RKR in it. So I just kind of thought it was clever and something different. Joffrey graciously created an emblem and a logo for me. That's also on my Facebook and Instagram. It's the first thing you see is RKR. That's my profile picture. So,
Nice. Yes. Okay, great. I've got that up, and I'll show everybody also later on and stuff, so how they can get a hold of.
Sorry for keeping that long-winded.
No, not at all, man. I'm glad you're here. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's great to finally meet you and hang out with you and stuff. And so, everybody, this is going to be a fun show because, as you can already tell, Jacob's fun. So it's going to be really cool. So, well, I guess we'll continue to get things going. Josh, did I just say Josh? I just did. Where did that come from? Mike, what do you have any news or geekdar?
Well, you know what? Let's do Geekdar first, then we'll do news, and then news can segue into our main topic. So.
Sounds like a plan. Geekdar, here we go.
Go with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps. And the creeps.
All right. So for Geekdar, continuing my physical comic, how do I say it? Obsession.
Yes.
So last week I went to the comic book store, picked up my weekly pull, and they had some pretty nice stuff in there for me. So I have the next issue of Batman 89, which is a fantastic cover. I love this.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That is a beautiful cover.
Isn't it? Oh yeah. I mean, it's got the 89 Batman on it. It's got the Robin that was adapted to this comic book. Batgirl adapted to this comic book, and it's kind of hard to see, but you got Harley Quinn and the Sandman there too. So they look great. Just a fantastic cover. I'll be honest, I haven't been reading them. I got to jump in reading them, but the cover is beautiful.
I always tell you, I have this stack that I just don't get to.
Mine's the same way, and it's growing taller. And then the next issue of Godzilla versus King Kong versus the Justice League, Part 2. I got that. And
nice.
Another great cover, too.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And then the last thing I have is issue number 3 of Predator versus Spider-Man. I've been getting all these Predator versus comics.
Wait a minute. Are you mean are we talking Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Oh my God, he's taking on everybody. Like,
well, I mean, he is the Predator, so
I think I actually have a copy of it. I think there's actually a Predator versus Archie comic book. There's all kinds like.
Oh, I haven't seen an Archie one yet.
I'm pretty sure I have one. But yeah, they've all Predator versus. I'm like, man, who are they gonna?
Predator's taking on. He's taking on Batman, Wolverine, Black Panther, and now Spider-Man. And I've lost count after that. I don't know who else.
Oh yeah, there's some interesting combos that they've come together with,
Mm-hmm.
So
it is confirmed. Archie versus Predator.
Oh wow!
Oh, you found it?
I did on Amazon. Oh, I didn't set up my. Oh man! Or wait, maybe I did. Is this here? Let's see if this works. That would be a negative because now I lost Jacob. I'll get
That's all
Jacob
right.
added and stuff and all that. What? Here, I got to make it smaller. See, everybody, we could do stuff on the fly. I love EV Mux. I'm just saying.
EV Mux is good.
I have quite enjoyed it. So here we go. Let's see if this pops up. There it is. Archie versus Predator. This is on Amazon.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one I had not seen. And the Predator looks fantastic in the Archie art style. That's hilarious.
Wait a minute. That really says $90.
Buy new for $90.90.
That's what it says.
The hardcover is cheaper than the paperback.
That's crazy. Of course, I guess that means.
And this is 1 through 4, I guess. I think it's
okay. Because I
collecting
have
issues number 1 through 4, the smash hit Archie versus Predator.
Because I have a single issue of it. I don't have and I don't even know where it is. It's somewhere in the, you
might want to find it. Hang on to it.
I guess so. I was like, Archie? Predator? Like, are we sure about this? Like, okay. I mean,
it is a crazy combo.
90 divided by 4. I don't know. I don't know if that individual issue holds its value. Sometimes you got to have the set.
I wonder if we're going to get the Turtles versus the Predator then. I'd go for that.
I love the Turtles, but I'm sorry, the Predator's going to win. It's just, I'm sorry.
Oh, but you're willing to buy Archie versus the Predator. I think the Turtles stand a better chance than Archie.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. No deal on that one. No, that was worth a shot though. Turtles versus Predator. Just to see.
Well, there's an idea for them. Turtles versus Predator. I say.
There you go. Right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anything else, Mike, on your Geekdar?
That's all I got on the Geekdar.
Cool. All right. I don't have anything on my Geekdar. It was a crazy week. And I was trying to catch up on all the episodes of Tulsa King for today. So that is my Geekdar. Tulsa King.
Who came up with using the scene from Spaceballs with the radar for the Geekdar? Whose idea was that?
That was
Mr. Mike.
It was yours? Yeah. Because I always thought that was cool. And I'm like,
thank you.
It's sometimes you see people put things together and you're like, I could have thought of that, but it's like, you didn't though. You didn't. Somebody else did. I think that was very cool. I was curious who came up with that.
The Geekdar segment I stole from Three Geeky Dads. They have a segment that they call our flying our geek flag. What's got your geek flag flying? And I thought, we need to adopt that segment, but I wanted to make it ours. So I came up with Geekdar because I figured that goes along with two geeks and a microphone. So
I don't see any. I think you're covered with copyright infringement. I don't think you have anything to be worried about there. I'm not saying that sarcastically either. I think that
we're friends with them. They know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're great guys.
All fair and love in podcasting. So.
That's how we say it. All right. Well, we'll head on to the geeky news.
Yeah.
All right. Now
fix that, Steven.
What do you mean?
To where it didn't play twice.
It played twice. Because it's already. I have to cut it and figure it out and stuff like that.
I thought you already did that. Anyway,
I thought I did actually, but
the weekly news played twice. It only played once for me.
Oh, did it? Oh, I saw.
Yeah, it only played once, but
maybe it's my weird internet. That could be it. Oh well.
Hey, don't jinx it. You haven't dropped out yet, so I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I know what you put in your coffee, Mike. Like, no, I'm just
not today. Not today. Anyway, the geeky news today, unfortunately, is not the happy-go-lucky geeky news. We've had a lot of deaths this past week, and I figured we'd kind of talk about those for a moment. So, and it hit us Gen Xers pretty hard. First one was Malcolm Jamal Warner, who is Theo from Cosby Show. Unfortunately, Malcolm died in a swimming incident and drowned. So we had him, and then we lost the great Ozzy Osbourne, that was a pretty big hit for me. I'm a big Ozzy fan. I've loved Ozzy since I was a teenager. So that one I took a little hard. Been watching and listening to a lot of Ozzy Osbourne this week in remembrance of the Prince of Darkness. So we had that, and then the last one, which was a surprise, was Hulk Hogan of all people.
Mhm.
Hulk, heavyweight champion for the WWF, WWE. He passed away of a heart attack. I think he hadn't been too healthy for a while. I had a feeling Jacob would have his Hulkster hat last time.
Nice.
I feel like this is appropriate.
Yes, very
Yes.
appropriate. Very appropriate for the Hulk. So yeah, we lost the Hulkster, and the Hulkster kind of ties into today's topic because he was in Rocky 3, which is a Sylvester Stallone movie, of course, and he played the great Clubber Lang, who fought Rocky in the ring, and it was a fantastic scene. I love it. It's one of my
he was Thunderlips.
favorite. Yes. What did I say?
Clubber Lang. That was
yeah.
That was Mr.
Clubber Lang was
character.
Mr. T. Sorry, I got him confused. You are absolutely right. He was Thunderlips, and Mr. T played Clubber Lang, which Mr. T was fantastic in that movie too, by the way. Love Rocky 3. Can't love on that anymore. But so yeah, RIP to all the ones we lost this week, and yeah, it's kind of a sad week for us Gen Xers. I don't know what else to say on that.
I didn't really watch the Cosby Show. I found out about. Forgive me, I don't. What was his
Malcolm
name?
Jamal Warner.
I'm not familiar with him. My parents watched Cosby when in the early '90s and stuff. I've seen episodes of it. I wasn't young enough to really take it in or anything, but that's back when he was wholesome. So that one didn't really hit me. Ozzy, I mean, say what you will about anybody, the guy, it's Ozzy Osbourne. He's everybody knows his music or has heard his music. Definitely an individual, influential individual.
Arguably the start of heavy metal music. So
I would agree. My Uncle Tom would probably agree with you. He's oh Lord. He's in his early 60s, and growing up, being at his house, I remember on the wall framed pictures of Ozzy Osbourne. So after talking to you guys, it didn't dawn on me until now. I might want to give my Uncle Tom a call and ask him if he's okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Ozzy fan. I got to see Ozzy in 1991 for the No More Tours tour, which was supposed to be his last tour. And then I saw him the following year on the Retirement Sucks tour. And both of those tours were fantastic. Ozzy rocked.
That's awesome.
All right. That's all I got for geeky news.
All right. Well, let's hit it. Let's do the good old main event, shall we? It's time for the main event. Dun, 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 dun. We are talking Tulsa King, everybody, starring Sylvester Stallone, and I was impressed by the cast actually too, who they have, and so we have saved it for the podcast, everybody.
Something just struck me. I didn't realize how appropriate our main event was to
Rocky. Yeah.
It just hit me. I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's very apropos. I love it. Yes, you're right. This was a very good cast. I was very happy with the show when I discovered it. It's no secret I'm a huge Sylvester Stallone fan. I love most of his work. Seen majority of his movies. I wouldn't say I've seen every one of his movies, but I've seen most of them. Rocky being my all-time favorite of his work, of course. But I like this. I like the whole gangster take that he took on this. I thought it was fun. It was a little different for him. This is just something I'd never really seen him delve into, but I felt it was very appropriate with his background, his Italian background. I thought it worked out really well that way.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of surprised he's never really delved into this type of subject before. So, very happy with the show. Love it.
Yeah. So we probably should tell everybody, if you haven't seen Tulsa Kings, what's the premise? Let's tell everybody what the premise is.
Right. So Tulsa King, this would be my own little kind of synopsis, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have a gangster, Dwight Manfredi, who is played by Sylvester Stallone, and I believe Sylvester wrote and directed most of this. Anyway,
I think he had influence, but
okay,
yeah. Producer. That's he's one of the executive producers of it. Yeah, that's it.
He is a mobster from New York, who's fairly high up in the family.
It's the capo.
right? And he ends up, I don't want to say exactly how, but he ends up going to prison for 25 years, basically to protect somebody in the family. And then when he gets out, they don't really want him back. So they isolate him to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So it's a very fish out of water story, because
yeah, good word. Yeah,
you don't normally think of gangsters when you think of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I think it works fantastic.
Yeah,
happy with
Jacob, what were your thoughts of the just overall premise of the show?
Well, first when I saw the name of it, I was like, "How the heck is this going to work in Tulsa, Oklahoma?"
Right.
Right. I kind of wish I had did this beforehand. I wanted to be like, is there even any Italian mafia families out there? And if there isn't, I'm sure that they have some sort of connections with other illegal entities out there. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm talking in real life. But I'm kind of bummed, because I actually did want to research that first, and I didn't. So shame on me, because I used to be kind of an encyclopedia of historical mafia facts and whatnot, what have you. But yeah, I'm like, how's this going to work? It's Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Mike explained, the premise and everything. And it's like, before you know all that, it's kind of like, okay, why is he, going out there? And I don't want to jump too far in, but my initial thought was, yeah, like, how is this going to work? But I don't want to jump into a topic that maybe one of you guys wanted to bring up, so I don't want to go too far.
We'll get into spoilerific territory here in a little bit. We'll let you bring it up then.
When you said whether there are gangsters or not in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it just reminded me of when Bodie looks at Dwight and says, "You didn't think you were the only criminal in Tulsa, did you?"
With the the money on the computer, yeah,
with the crypto. I love that. That was a great line.
Well, and it was cool because they modernized the crime for the time, So so
yep.
And the dynamic between the two of them. First, it was like scared weed shop guy, kind of phased out,
right?
And it turns out he's actually kind of this closet genius of cybercrime, and
that was a nice shock for me. I was like, oh, I like that. That's funny. Yeah.
Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Good evening, Sam.
Now, Sam is asking, is it on a streaming service? Is this on a streaming service?
I believe it was on Paramount.
It's on Paramount. Yes.
Or you can, go to Amazon and then get Paramount Plus through Amazon. You don't have to.
That's subscribe. What I did.
Yeah, and you don't even have to be a member of Prime. You can just, if you just log into Amazon, purchase Paramount Plus, and boom. And if you haven't ever had Paramount Plus, or if you haven't renewed it recently, they'll probably have some kind of deal on it for you that you can probably watch it free for a month, and then just cancel auto renew, and then you got 30 days free of it.
Yep.
We are
We'll
not
catch up.
sponsored by Paramount, by the way.
And definitely won't be after we told that trick.
Yeah, well, no, I'll take the blame for that one. So,
No, it's all good.
there goes my future of having a comic book movie deal with Paramount.
Yeah, I highly doubt they're watching us. So.
Well, okay, what are we going to use for our rating scale? So this is where I was curious what you guys think.
Oh my gosh.
I know what I want to do, but
okay,
I
what
want
do
to
you
hear
want?
what you guys say. 8
I hadn't
jars
really
of
thought about
apricot preserves.
I like it. I like it. That's good.
Did you say 8 jars of apricot preserves?
Or, well,
Yeah, jars. So
Right.
our scale would be how many jars of apricot preserves out of 10?
that's great. Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
If you've seen the show, you know exactly
Mhm.
what Steven is talking about. This is really good, by the way.
This is great.
Oh,
What's in it?
in that part when I can't remember where they were going to or coming from, but when they're in the back of the Lincoln, and Stallone has got the THC lollipop, and he's talking the boat. Yeah, he was absolutely hysterical.
What is it with your generation? I love that conversation.
And then they're passing the joint back and forth, and it's like this is so I mean. I feel like one of you guys wanted to bring this up, but it's bugging the heck out of me. People put like Stallone and Schwarzenegger in the same category, and they say that they can't act. Schwarzenegger.
I disagree with that.
So do I. Schwarzenegger aside, we won't talk about him because that's not the focus here. But if you think Sylvester Stallone can't act, like I can understand why you might think that. But if you truly think that he can't act, then you have not seen a wide variety of his movies. Number one,
Yeah.
Like I know he's got that stereotypical action, hero background and movie, but I mean, anyone who says that, watch the original Rocky, then watch, watch and don't hate me for this, watch like Judge Dredd, and then watch oh Lord, I used to be good at this. Basically what I'm getting at is if you watch his movies, there really is a range. Like, he can be emotional. He's not just this tough, monotone freaking moron. He's not. And that's and the same thing with Arnold. Everybody thinks that they're just stupid and big and cool and can mess everybody up.
That's a good Arnold.
It's like, it's like, get to the chopper. It's like, no, like if you watch these guys' movies, like, I mean, even what Arnold did with the Terminator, they said nobody can emulate that. He made like a robot cyborg human, like what it is like. And man, I'd love to talk about the Terminator, but Stallone. What I'm getting at is Stallone can act, and I feel like if they made this show like 20 years ago, it wouldn't have worked. I think Stallone's age, for some reason, makes it better. And he's very, and I think Steven, I think you kind of brought something up about this, like his the way he carries himself and his style in the show. He's got this panache, this style about him. And if you watch the show, even if you hate Sylvester Stallone, you will be able to see that he is able to put on this. He's got this flair about him. This
gravitas.
I don't want to say cavalier, reckless attitude, but he's, very confident, very sure of himself. And it's it's like they give Marlon Brando the credit for method acting, how he would, bring in hand gestures and facial expressions to really make things seem more real. And it's like Stallone did a lot of that in this show and does a lot of that in this show. And so to anyone who says Stallone cannot act, the blood test on that is going to come back negative. So,
well, if you don't think Stallone can act, just watch this show because I think you'll find out that
there's a range in the show. It was really good.
Oh yeah. He is not in this show. He is not the dumb Rocky that we know, and I say that with all love and respect because I love Rocky. Rocky's one of my all-time favorites. In fact, I loved in Creed when Creed comes to Rocky and starts asking him for advice, and Rocky's like, "Well, I'm not going to train you, but here, I'll give you some tips," and starts explaining, some training tips and stuff. And he looks at Creed and goes, "You gonna like write this down or something?" And Creed's like, "No, man, it's in the cloud." And Rocky looks up at the sky and goes, which one?" I love it. I love it. And he ain't nothing like that in this show. I mean, this guy is smart. He's not, it's a total different character than Rocky.
Yeah,
And so I agree. If you think that his acting is not great, watch Tulsa King, because you're in for a treat.
he's very he's very, very smart, very calculating, he's a chess player.
Yeah.
In the metaphorical sense, so if you like, twists and turns and, you think you're going left, but all of a sudden you're doing a U-turn and then making a right and then 2 more left turns, you're in for a hell of a treat.
Okay. So how many apricot dips?
Jars of apricot.
Well, I don't know if I would try the dip. It might be a little extreme for me.
Yeah, me too.
Man, I forgot that we do this. You guys do this question.
That's right. I'll start off. While you think and process. I'll start off. I'll say I give it a very good, strong 8 out of 10 jars of apricot preserves. Just saying. Very strong 8 out of 10. It was worth watching, and I did not Steven skip anything.
Oh, dang.
He is alive.
Wow. I am totally shocked. I'm blown away. I did not expect that. Wow.
I like it better than I like the penguin.
Nice.
You know what, Steven? That's how you know it was a good show.
I too will give this 8, maybe 8.5 apricot, whatever we call those, because I love this show. I think it's fantastic. It's almost as high up as Yellowstone for me, and Yellowstone to me right now is pretty much the best show on television. But yeah, this is a very close second to Yellowstone.
Yeah. Well, it was created by Taylor Sheridan, the same guy who did Yellowstone, right?
Yes, but it's not, some people are like, well, it's a clone of Yellowstone. It is not a clone.
No, it's not.
It is not the same show at all.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a few similar beats here and there, but other than that, no, this show is totally different. It's its own thing. So I highly recommend it.
I mean, you really can't create anything anymore without it having some sort of, relativity to something else that's been made in the past, people, I just say that because I think people forget that. And then, they see something, they're like, well, that's been done before. And it's like, well, maybe parts of it, or, the I don't know how to exactly explain it, but, you can still be original with using, kind of going off of other material. You're not stealing it. You're
right.
What's the word I'm looking for here? Because you're not, it's like a frame.
You're learning from it, and you're creating your own spin off of it, if that makes sense. That's how I saw it. I saw, okay, it's Taylor Sheridan. Okay, I can see some similarities, but the premise is totally different, and I think it works. Even though you're right, I think there are, Mike, as you said, there are some beats that are similar. But hey, if you've got something that works, why not emulate it?
Exactly. I heard a good example last night that would explain this a little bit. Alice Cooper just came out with a new album this week, Revenge of Alice Cooper, which is the first album in 55 years that his original Alice Cooper band got together and recorded. So far, it's really good. But Alice was talking about their influences and stuff, and their influences come from, the Beatles, from like the Kinks, and the '60s punk bands and stuff like that. And they have a huge influence from the Who, and I also love the Who, by the way. But they said, so when we started, we kind of wanted to be the Who, but we wanted to be the Who with our own spin, and and when I listen to the Alice Cooper band, I'm not talking about Alice Cooper of the 80s, which is a little more heavy metal. But when I listen to that Alice Cooper band, I can hear that kind of punk attitude that the Who had back in the 60s, through them.
Yeah.
But it's their spin. It's not the Who, but you can see the influences. So that's what I would say, with Tulsa King, you could see some influences of Yellowstone, but it's not Yellowstone.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because like when I was younger, I used to rap, and this is, we're talking 10 plus years ago now, but at the time when people hadn't heard my music before and they would listen to it and they would be like, just from listening to it, they can be like, I can tell that you're a fan of Eminem and Tupac. And I'm like, how? They're like, just the way, the way you sound, the way you put words together, you can tell you're fans of them, but by the way you enunciate things, your tone, your rhythm, you can tell they're two people that you listen to. And I was like, yeah, they are. And it's like, I didn't copy them, but you take,
Right.
you take things from what and that comes out in anything that you do and create, I think,
Yeah. Sam says, steal from someone else's story, it's plagiarism. Steal from 20 stories, it's research.
I like that, Sam. Nice.
And don't forget the bibliography at the end. Cite your source.
Because if you cite it, then it's not plagiarism.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty good.
I hated that in high school. We would do these little things or PowerPoints, and at the end we had to have the bibliography, and I'm like, why? And it's like so they know you're not copying it, saying it's yours, and then it's like, I don't know, that always bothered me. I'm like, well, I don't care, and I know it's not mine, and it's like, well, you got to do it, and it's like, well, all right, fine, I'll do it.
You may know it's not yours, but not everyone else does.
Yeah, because I know in college that's taken very seriously. You can get huge trouble. Huge trouble for that. So I get it, and and there have been celebrities that have. I believe Jay Moore, the comedian, stole some. This is back in like the earlier mid 2000s. I don't know if it's true. I heard, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jay Moore.
I know who he is. Yeah.
I guess he stole like, a joke or parts of he stole comedy from somebody and then he got in trouble for it, or so I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it happens,
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Let's do this. Jacob, did you give your jars of reserves?
No. So usually when it comes to mafia stuff, I love to throw a 10 on it. I'm not going to throw a 10 on it. I gave Penguin a 10. You know what? No, I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 10 just because it's more it's modern. A lot of it in terms of what happens in the actual mafia is inaccurate. But times have changed. It's not the early 2000s. It's not the 90s. It's not the 80s. It's not the 1930s anymore. So just like anything else, the mafia adapts, changes. Does whatever, what have you. I'm not in the mafia, but so you read and hear and can research. Stuff they do and things they don't do changes. But I mean, like in the very beginning when he punches Vince, when he's back at the house, that was a big thing, or as far as I know still is a big thing. Like if you're a made guy and you raise your hands to another made guy, that's punishable by death, and they make a decision of that. And as we know, spoiler alert, Vince doesn't get to kill Dwight for punching him.
I didn't blame Dwight one bit.
Oh, I was like, as soon as he hit him, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be interesting. Like,
Yeah.
in a good way, But
we should go ahead and just say, hey, everybody, we're going to start going into spoilerific territory. So, because I think it's important because we got to talk about a lot of things and to give people, especially what we liked and maybe some things we may not have liked and stuff like that. But everybody, we're going to hit spoilerific territory from here on out. So that way we can just talk freely amongst ourselves. And
all right.
So
Go ahead.
I got to say this one thing. One of my favorite things of the show was how Jacob, you said like it's a fish out of water story kind of a thing. I think
No,
it was
Mike said that.
Mike said that. Sorry, Mike. So I thought that was a great that's a great illustration, because here you've got this guy who goes to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and starts doing the mafia thing. And then you see the progression over this first season of how they become their own family.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love the whole, they open up to each other. They were covering for each other. They were, there was this whole thing of they're doing stuff together. And so I was worried they were going to start infighting and stuff like that. But then it was just good. By the time you got to the last episode where they were all together as the family.
Yes.
Thing, I thought it was really good.
What is
I didn't think there was a lot of infighting. You had a little bit of tension here and there, but it's kind of expected tension. You know what I mean? Because you got those things that they're trying to establish. The relationships between each other. So that the way they did it, I felt made a lot of sense. But you didn't have that whole thing of them just big time infighting and stuff. It was more like a fairly close knit, or it becomes more like a fairly close knit family, and I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and I like the parallel with his own family as it would progress through. So I was like, okay, that was one of my favorite parts about it and stuff. So yeah, you guys' favorite parts? What was your favorite part?
Oh, it's hard. Out of how many? Episodes?
9? I do like when Stallone meets when they go to Bodie's supplier for marijuana. They go to his property, and he meets Badface. They meet Badface, and he immediately starts in on Stallone, and he says something to him in his native language, and then Bodie says it means like white person who steals the fat, or something like that, and just what they say and how they say it. Badface says to Stallone, "You ever ridden a horse?" And then Stallone's like, "You ever been on life support?" And then the other guy comes running out of the house. Oh, whoa, no. I laughed. I've watched both seasons twice, and both times I watched that part always made me laugh. When just great. Just from have you ever ridden a horse to have you ever been on life support? No, that's one of my favorite lines. There are a lot of good lines, but that one sticks out for me. And then like what I was talking about when Stallone's on the THC sucker in the car with Bodie and everything, that's good. Yeah. And I like how he takes Tyson under his wing, and he schools him on some things. There's some things I want to say, and I don't know if I'm bleeding over into season 2, so I'm a little reluctant to say them because I don't want to jump into season 2. But at least from the get go in season 1, what Dwight or Stallone is taking over, ironically, is legitimate companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is smart. So I like that take that they took on it, because at first when I was watching the show, I think we were all thinking, how is this going to work in Oklahoma? And he just goes right into that weed shop and is basically like, I'm taking over, like. But he in the way he does it, there's this humorous stylish flair about it, and that's one of the things that I think we can all agree Stallone really pulls off well. But he still has that acting range. He has emotionality in this show. He's got the tough guy attitude in this show, and it's not the tough guy attitude like Rocky. I mean, it's completely different. Like if you're used to seeing Stallone tough as Rocky or Rambo, like this is a completely different attitude, completely different mindset, completely different performance. And if you ask me, I know he finally got his Golden Globe for Best Actor. He never won an Oscar, but I don't think that they can nominate these shows for Oscars, but if they could, I think that he definitely deserves Best Actor. Or did he get nominated or win for supporting role in Creed?
I don't know.
Or is that what he won the Golden Globe for?
I really don't keep up with him anymore. I don't know. I can't speak for that.
Yeah, but I can't speak enough to, people who, again, I'm going to include Schwarzenegger in there, who say those guys, even Bruce Willis, who say those guys can't act. Watch more than just their action movies, please. Like, they can act. Like,
he got best original screenplay 1977, best actor in 1977, best supporting actor in 2016.
But did he win?
What was supporting actor in 2016? Because I know 77's for Rocky.
It's probably Creed or Creed 2, I'm guessing.
I'm working on it. Sorry.
I don't remember what year Creed came out.
Neither do I. that sounds old enough to me. Like,
let's see. So 19. This is according to Wikipedia, so I'm just citing my source. That could be good. It could not be good.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. You don't know with Wikipedia.
Well, shoot. I got to go all the way to 2016. Sorry, everybody. Okay, 2016. Oh, I'm in Best Actor. Dadgummit. I'm in the wrong category, so I don't know where the other one is. So,
Came out in 2015.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I didn't realize it's been long. 10 years. Dang.
20. Wow. No, I'm in the right one. Where's it at?
So, because I think he won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in Creed, but he didn't.
He did not win for Creed. Nuh-uh.
Huh.
No, the winner was Mark Rylance, Bridge of Spies.
Then what did he? Or I think he won Best Supporting Actor then as a Golden Globe, but I know he never won an Oscar for it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So anyway, keep going. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So what? I mean, there's so much in this that it's good stuff, and it's hard to pick out a favorite. But I think if I have to, I think it's going to be when Dwight comes upon the weed shop, and not condoning weed in any way, because I don't like that, but it's a great premise for the show, and it works so good, and I love the characters that are involved in it. But when he walks into that shop and he asks he asks to talk to whoever's in charge, and the security guy, I forget his name, comes up to him, and then he goes out to the kid. I'm their names. I still don't have all their names down. Let's see, Tyson. He goes out to Tyson. And he's like, "Hey, I need. I don't know what he asked him for. He asked him for something. He's like, I got my car. He asked him for what?
He's got the money. He hands him the money, and he folds out the ad.
No. He asked him for something he could use for a weapon, and he goes, I got my water bottle. He goes, that'll work.
Yeah.
Walks in and chucks the water bottle right at the guy's head.
Knocks him out.
Knocks him out, falls flat on the floor. All right, now I need to talk to whoever's in charge of this place. I just loved it because I loved him walking in, establishing his dominance, and then just completely taking over that second. It was like, holy crap. You could tell he's a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. And then I love when he approaches Brody and he's like, I got a business proposition for you. And he's like, what do you have to offer me? Well, protection. Protection from what?
Yeah.
Because like you said, it's a legal shop. He's not running anything illegal. Well, that we know of yet,
Right.
Because we do find that Brody is involved in other things, but the shop itself is all legal, and he's like, no, I'll be here to protect you against, others and the feds and so on and so forth. Basically, he made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
I had to look it up. That security guard's name, who ends up being part of their family.
Right.
His name was Fred. I love that after that, Stallone was always so nice to him after he clocked him in the head. Every encounter they have, he's always so nice to him, always asks him how he's doing.
Right.
How you doing?
I think, Fred's almost kind of like I don't want to say maybe, a comic relief here and there, on a small level, but, he's you don't see him much in the show, but he's definitely a likable, lovable addition to the cast. And
just like Grace. Grace is a lovable character too. You know,
Mhm.
is it season 1 where they do the oh God, I don't want to trickle into season 2 here.
That's all right.
I might be where they do. Remember where they practice shooting all of
That's
them?
season
no,
one.
that's season 1.
That is season 1.
Yeah, and you find out
Yeah.
she can shoot.
Yeah.
and
He's the
everybody.
only one that can shoot.
Mitch, is it? Mitch can shoot. Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. The guy who was the bar owner.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. I wasn't really counting him because I count him more on Dwight's level. You know.
Oh yeah.
Right. You know. I mean, he's already a criminal or former criminal, I should say.
Because you see, Tyson wants to shoot the gun with like that unrealistic, hip hop flair, and and then Mitch comes in. He's kind of like, if you shoot like this, you are a idiot. But the funny thing about him shooting like that is every time he took a shot, he hit. But Tyson missed every time. But then they're standing there talking, Stallone and Mitch, and all of a sudden you just hear shooting, and then they show the camera moves, and you just show every shot, every bottle gets hit, and then it's Grace and that stance and that serious look she has in her eye after you're like, holy shit, it's Grace. Oh, sorry, guys. I don't know if I.
That's all good. It's all good.
I was that I thought was really cool. I'm like this. I'm sorry. I think she's very pretty. I'm like, this badass, sexy chick is going to be the one with the. Who can wield the guns the best. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like, I'm all right with that.
Well, I think that was, she's like one of the most unlikely, who would be able to shoot. So I think that's the reason they made her the one who could shoot like she could. And I liked it. I thought it was great. It was a nice little twist, and it didn't feel forced on it. And I liked her story. She's like, "Hey, my dad taught me how to shoot. It's about the only way that we got along or whatever." So I thought all of that worked well and worked for her character, and yeah, it was good.
And you see a development of her character because early on, after Dwight, took over the store, she was clearly like an extreme, like extrovert, like I don't want anything to do with anything, I can't handle anything, and then all of a sudden she's holding the gun, shooting stuff, saying I'm on board. You know what I mean? So you see that change in her. So it's like, even though they're doing illegal stuff, it almost seems like for her mental health sake, everything that's going on kind of made her a stronger individual, if you will. So you definitely see that develop. Well, you see a development in all the characters, but just speaking on Grace.
When we first meet her, she's like, "I'm too high to even know what's going on."
Yeah.
And then I think Dwight comes into the shop the second time, and then she's kind of like this, and she says something about. I think she says something about him being that he's triggering her or something like that. Something like that.
Yes.
But then
Dwight being in prison for 25 years has no idea what that term means.
Yeah.
Which is another fun thing about this show, because we're seeing all the things that, we hear, all the terms and stuff that we hear today. And he has no clue of what in the world any of this means. He doesn't know how to use a cell phone,
the debit card.
Right. Debit card, all that stuff. And it's pretty neat to see Dwight learning all this stuff as he goes along.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I did look up. So Mitch is the guy who does the bar, and then I noticed that the girl who plays the one who takes care of the horse, who is the waitress at Ticket Stores, I did not know, but that's his daughter. That's Sylvester Stallone's daughter, Scarlett Rose Stallone.
I didn't realize that either. Dang.
I thought that was interesting.
Okay, cool. Scarlett Rose Stone. Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I liked her too. I also liked Armand. Armand's great. He's the one who
weasel.
He's a little, but he ends up being loyal to Dwight. Which I liked. And then I love Chicky. I love to hate Chicky.
Oh, I hate
Yes.
Chicky. Hate
Exactly.
Chicky, right.
Exactly. I mean, I think he's perfect. He's such a creep. And then the way he did his dad is like, oh gosh, yeah. I want to
Right.
see Dwight get this guy. That's
And then the reveal that he was wearing a hairpiece.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
it kind of added to his like mentality, I thought, because then after he kills his dad and you see his hair shifted and you're like, wait a minute, and it was a mess. It kind of makes him look,
Mhm.
I think it's also a metaphor for like he's losing his crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they show him walking down the stairs at the house, after his dad died, and
That was a good scene.
I kind of laughed a little bit because I'm like, no, he looks like a freaking UFC fighter, a retired UFC fighter. Like what's going on here? I'm like, is he the head of a mafia family, or is he about to go on a podcast with Joe Rogan about how his fight went? Like, and I love Joe Rogan, by the way, but it's just I couldn't take him. I mean, I was able to take him seriously, but first at that point, I'm like, look at him. I'm like, he looks like he's going into a UFC fight. I'm like. But no, he does a great job, and I agree.
He did do a great job, yeah.
You love to hate him. They say if an actor can make you hate them, they are a good actor. So,
he did good.
He definitely wins it there for sure. And then, you kind of hate Vince at first. He's the one who Dwight clocks in the beginning.
At first, I hate Vince throughout the whole thing.
But do you, and I might be spilling over into season 2 where they have that one phone conversation, and after they get off the phone, Dwight insults Vince, and Vince looks at the phone and he's like, I think he's warming up to me. Like, I like that little dynamic that they have, because
I gotta say, I don't think there's an actor in this that I don't like. I think everybody does a fantastic job in the show.
There is one that I have slight beef with.
Okay.
I don't know what his name is, but as soon as they brought him on camera, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. He is a stereotypical pick for a villain, and I don't know his name, but he's the tall, skinny, he plays Thatcher. Is that his name? The rich guy who owns all the weed farms, like in the millions of acres in the area or whatever. I don't know his actor name. He was in Walking Tall with The Rock. He was in
oh
God,
I'm trying to find who you're talking about.
What is his name? I have it right here. Neil McDonough.
Oh, he's season 2.
Oh, he is. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. That's all right.
My bad. Yeah, when I saw him, I was a little like, I can't think off the top of my head what else, but at first I was kind of like, really? I was like, were you guys trying to save money and you picked him? Like, no offense to him. I know he's a great person. I've read things about him. That's great. I was just like, you guys couldn't have picked.
Oh, wait, you don't like Neil McDonough? Steve and I were just talking about him before you came on.
I don't think he's a bad actor. I just think that
he's stereotyped in his roles.
Yeah, he's stereotyped in his roles. And then as soon as I saw him, I was like, come on. I was like,
so how did you do for season 2 though in your mind? Was he believable? What did we say? Did you really hate his character? He was a good villain.
Oh, like Chicky, I hated his ass. Absolutely. So it worked. But at first when I saw him, my first impression was like, really? It's like, we've gone this route. It's like, and no disrespect to him, he is a good actor and everything, but it's just like, I kind of felt like the studio or whatever you want to call it cheaped out and was like, we'll just get him to do it.
He's a good actor and we get him for cheap.
I don't know if I'm not trying to throw shade, but that's just kind of how I felt. I was like, really? I'm like, he's gonna be the guy, but he pulled it off. So I can't talk smack about him because he pulled it off. You end up.
So does he die at the end of season 2? I'm just kidding. Everybody. Don't say anything. We'll come back for season 2.
He dies at the end of season 14.
Yeah, nice.
He dies, she dies, they all die.
They all die.
No, I like him. I think he's a great actor. I don't think I've ever seen anything I dislike him in, but I've seen him in all the DC stuff that he's done, and I thought he was fantastic throughout that. And,
What did he do in DC?
he was oh gosh, what is the character?
Dark. Damien Dark.
Yes, Damien Dark. He was in
Arrowverse.
he was in the Arrowverse, and I thought he was fantastic throughout the Arrowverse. Loved him. That I think that's where I first experienced him, and then I've seen him in other things after that, and I was just like, oh yeah, this guy, he's a great bad guy. But you're right. That's the only thing. I don't think I've ever seen him. Well, okay, he does have a new movie out, and he's not the typical bad guy in this new movie. I haven't seen it yet. Is
that The Last Rodeo?
Yeah, The Last Rodeo.
Okay.
So, but he's from what I understand, he's not the typical bad guy that he normally is. So, they did actually put something out that he strayed away from his normal character. So,
well, and he, I think it was only one season and it got canceled. He played there. I think the show was called like NIH, and he was like a head guy that would go out in the field from the National Institute of Health when there was like some sort of isolated health incident, almost kind of like, if like smallpox broke out, they called him and his team in, and they went in to find out what was going on, where it came from, stuff like that. I think it was only one season, so he was a good guy in that. That was, I want to say early 2000s, maybe.
Medical investigation pops up.
It wasn't it called NIH or I think he just worked for the NIH in the show.
I know he's in Yellowstone too.
He's in Yellowstone too?
Yeah, he's in Yellowstone too.
Well, that's Paramount, so.
Nice. Paramount has a contract.
I was just going to say they got him on contract. So he will be resurrected in season 27 of Tulsa King, and
oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh.
That's good. I like that. I like this whole season 14, season 27.
I'm throwing the shade on this guy, but he can act. I don't know why I felt that way, but when I saw him, I was just like, really, they couldn't do better.
We've seen him in that type of a role many times.
Yeah,
I think is what it is. I mean, I think he is typecast. That's the word.
He's
typecast. Yeah.
Oh, and
that would make sense.
I wanted to say this too. Trying to find the other bad guy in the show. The leader of the biker gang.
Oh yeah, the Irish guy or whatever.
Yes, the Irish guy. I want to see him play Batman character. Oh gosh, he was the main bad guy in the Batman book. That John Jackson Miller just did. Gosh, why can I not think of his name? The doctor. Gosh. Steven, help me.
Which doctor are you talking about?
What'd you say? Hugo Strange.
Oh, Hugo Strange. Think he'd be a good Hugo Strange.
Oh my gosh, I think he'd be a perfect Hugo Strange.
Maybe.
Every time I see him, that's all I can think of is Hugo Strange.
I'm glad you brought that up because Colin Waltrip, because they always referred to him by his last name in the show for the most part, I think. I at first I was a little bummed when they brought on him and his crew, but at the same time I was like, you know what? I was like, this is quite clever because it's like they're a biker gang, meth and all that, that's big in the Southwest. I'm like, okay, this is actually a very, wise direction, for Dwight to have as a potential adversary in that region, so I ended up, I warmed up to it real quick. At first I was kind of like, come on, I'm like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, this is about the mafia. And it's like, yeah, well, the mafia, we're trying to say is not in Tulsa. So who are you going to have out there? And it's like, okay, the biker gang, running meth and, whatever that
nitrous oxide.
nitrous
Yeah,
oxide.
nitrous is what Dwight was doing, which pissed him off.
Yeah.
Because he would send his crew to like all the big events, and they'd sell nitrous to these kids. What was it? $10 a balloon.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah.
And then Dwight's crew started doing it, and that's what crossed the path there.
Yeah.
So.
You're on our territory or something like that. Yeah.
So the biker thing ended up working out pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it did too. Yeah.
And his death was very satisfying.
Yeah, it was pretty I don't want to say overkill, but it was like holy, he really went for it when and that was a great scene, that shootout in the bar.
Yes.
That was excellent.
It just sucks that the bar has been destroyed twice now.
And is that season? Oh no, I'm going to spill into season 2. Never mind.
Well, the bar gets shot up the first time, and then that's when they redo the bar, because it gets shot up just as what's his face? The guy that owns the bar,
Mitch.
Mitch, yeah. When Mitch says he's looking for a partner, and Dwight's like, well, I've been thinking, and then they have the incident, and then after they take care of everything, Mitch looks at him and says, you got a deal.
Yeah.
And then they redo the bar, and it's really nice. And
yeah, you can definitely put together that there was probably some insurance fraud done there, for renovation purposes.
I mean, we're talking mobsters here, so yeah, I would say, the likelihood is high.
I was pleased with that. I thought I'm like I can't remember exactly what happened. And Mike, I think you just said it. Forgive me, but it's like I'm like, oh, they're about to go Goodfellas on this place. Like when Ray Liotta's like, once the joint's busted out, what do? You light a match and you claim the insurance check or whatever he says. So I'm like, they're going to go Goodfellas on this place. They're going to light it on fire. They're going to collect insurance and make it bigger and better. That's kind of pretty much what they did without setting it on fire.
Right.
So I was like, cool move.
I liked it. And then, of course, they added the casino too, which is a nice little touch.
Oh yeah, no, that was
which tied in the guy that runs the weed farm.
Oh yeah, because he was a Native American, and I think they needed him in order to get the gaming license.
Exactly.
So, which again, kudos to Dwight, because even though he came in there, extorting and doing all this illegal stuff, he's still making all these businesses that are actually legitimate.
Yeah, what did they call him? I loved it. A force multiplier. They say he's a force multiplier.
Yeah,
that reminds me of another scene I loved, when the cops show up with Brody and they come in to talk to Mitch, and Mitch just starts going off on him, and he's like, what are you going to do to me? You're on Native American land. You have no jurisdiction here. Get the hell out. And I mean, he just went off on him, and there wasn't a thing they could say to him. It was great. I love that scene.
No, Mitch is great.
He is.
He had a zinger in that moment too. Like I love it when characters are unexpectedly funny. I mean, even that interaction between Badface and Dwight that I mentioned, very unexpected. You think they're just going to meet this guy who, is, a marijuana distributor, and, then they encounter this big buff bad guy outside, the guy's place, and they get in kind of, a little heated introduction unnecessarily, I feel like. Because I can't remember his name, but when we meet the gentleman who owns the distribution, he's actually a very calm, cool, polite, nice, easy guy. But then he's got this big, badass dude out front, who's greeting people, and if you want to call it greeting, if I was walking up to his house and saw a bad face, I'd be like,
Time to leave.
yeah, he's not someone, and I know, it was great. It was great.
But Badface and Dwight kind of develop a
Yeah.
really good relationship after that.
There's something that happens later. I think it's during one of the shootouts, and then Badface says something to Dwight,
Yeah.
and I think he like thanks him or something. He's like,
Yes.
Badface, blah 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 blah, and I can't remember what he says, but yeah, they definitely form like a little kinship.
bond. Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things about this show. It's a really fun show, and
Well, and it's funny every time they go back to New York, and they don't like what Dwight did. Chickie's getting aggravated. Vince doesn't like Dwight, but they all keep talking about what a great earner he is. What he, everything he does and turns everything into gold. And then when they decide to move Chickie out of the way, even the other, when Vince goes to see the other guys that are part of the other mafia families, they all talk about how great Dwight was and how great Dwight is and how he's a great earner. And it's like, Stallone's built to be this, if for anybody who doesn't know what that means, an earner is someone in the mafia who, when you get promoted as a made guy or a capo, you go out and you do things to generate money for the family. He's very good at generating money and income on a high level. So, he's very praised by people who aren't even a part of the family that he stems from in the mafia. So that just is a testament to Dwight as who he is before he went into prison, and how much respect that these guys from other families have for him, even now that he's out. It's like, other guys are like, and then of course his nickname is the General because his first name is Dwight. They're like, the General, great earner, the General. Everybody loves the General except for Chickie and parts of Chickie's family.
Well, and the great thing is they send him to Tulsa with the intention of he ain't going to be able to earn anything in Tulsa because there's just nothing going on. And then he just out of the blue starts coming up with stuff, and like you said, it's pretty ingenious because most everything he touches is actually a legal operation. It's not illegal, for the most part.
You got your gray areas,
Right. You got your gray. And of course you got Bodie who's stealing crypto from other people.
Right.
Yeah, no, that really is a great moment when he's like, "Did you really think you're the only criminal in Oklahoma?"
Yeah.
Just I love Bodie. Like when Stallone can get Bodie to, and it's not often when Stallone can get Bodie to smile in the show. I don't know why. There's something very satisfying about that because I think Bodie is
like
very
that.
intimidated
Yes.
by Dwight. So when Dwight or Stallone, when Dwight says something and Bodie responds to it with a laugh or a grin, it's like, okay, he's not that afraid of him. Okay, I don't know. I like that dynamic because early on, Bodie's always just kind of
there.
I'm here. I'm taking it in. I know what's happening, but very rarely do you see him,
right.
But when you do, there's something satisfying about it's like, ooh, we got a reaction out of him, So I love to see that, especially when it's between him and Stallone. And Armand, say what you will about him, he's great. He's great too. And then,
Armand, you hate him in the beginning because he's trying to kill Dwight because he thinks Dwight's there to kill him, which is not why Dwight's there. Not to say that Dwight didn't want to kill him. He did, but that's not why he was there. And then they work everything out. And then Armand actually becomes this likable character as he goes on. So I like Armand. I think he's cool.
No, I do too. I gotta be honest. When Stallone put the, they call it like the tax on him, if you will, you're going to start kicking up to me $300 a week to start, and like, I was like, come on, man. I was like, he messed up. He came out there, you guys got history. He thought you were out there to get him. Like, what else would you be doing in Tulsa, Oklahoma? It's like, you could kind of understand where Armand was coming from, because when you're in that world, you're gonna you're going to jump to that conclusion, I would think, right? So I don't want to say Armand was. I mean, he missed, so that's what matters, right? Or else we wouldn't have a show. And I mean, I'm not surprised that he missed. I mean, look at the guy. But anyway, 'cause
Hey,
he's
I liked it when he beat the crap out of his neighbor for his neighbor's dog crapping on his yard all the time.
Oh, he just went ballistic.
That was a great turning moment of his character.
He's had a couple, I feel like, pivotal, like, transitional moments in the show.
Mhm.
I think that was the first one, though. You've seen him go from the scared Armand to, no, I'm not taking this anymore. That type of thing.
Yes, and I've forgotten he even says that to Dwight. That he's like, kind of like, I'm done being crapped on. I'm done. It's kind of like it's all moving. I don't remember what they said, but he basically was saying how he's not going to live his life like that anymore. I think again spilling into season 2 there, my bad.
No, that was all in season 1.
That was in season 1. Okay, because I watched all of them like binge watch last week, and so they're all kind of
right together. Sure, yeah.
Because I had watched them before, but I was like, I got to brush up before I come on with you guys. So, I wanted to brush up, and I think it's a clever piece of cinematic storyline of a cinematic story that they've put together here. And if anyone likes the Mafia, and if you like Sylvester Stallone, and even if you don't like Sylvester Stallone and you like gangster stuff, you need to watch this show.
It's really good. Yeah. This would be one of my top gangster shows for me.
Nice.
And all. Nice. I really liked it. Liked it. So.
Not to change the subject, but have you guys heard of or watched Mobland with Tom Hardy and Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren?
No, that just came out. I saw a commercial for it and it looked intriguing. Have you seen it?
Yes, it is really good.
My wife likes Pierce Brosnan, so that's her hall pass.
That's her hall.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, he is a James Bond, so
right. Yeah.
No, I recommend that. You might need to use subtitles here and there, like, because I'm a big fan of Peaky Blinders with Cillian Murphy. Sometimes I would even have to throw on the subtitles on that, because even though English people speak English, sometimes with their accents, the words can kind of come together, and just like our American accents, depending on what part of the country you're from, your accent is always a little bit different. Same thing anywhere else you go, and I've noticed that. But Tom Hardy, sorry, I know I'm talking about something else here, guys, but
that's all right.
If you're a Tom Hardy fan, like I thought he was great as Bane. I don't care what anybody says.
I thought he was good.
All except for his voice.
People, I'm not a huge Batman and into the comics and the lore and all that, so I can't really speak on that. But I think for me personally, just him as an actor and hearing him and seeing him and how he has been in other shows, I thought the voice was good. I don't know. I haven't heard specifics as to. I know people didn't like the voice he used. A lot of people didn't, but I never heard specifics as to why they didn't like the voice that he used.
Well, it's mainly because you can't even understand him half the time. That's the big thing.
What?
You can't. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought you could understand, like, Bruce Wayne, he had this very, you need to pay attention to me, like I'm going to take over type of thing going on. And like, I thought
he truth be told, I don't like Christian Bale's voice in the movies either. So.
Have you guys?
He has a terrible Batman voice.
Where is the trigger?
Right.
Hockey pads.
Have you guys
favorite line out of all 3 Dark Knight movies?
Have you guys heard of the I don't know if they're still around, the YouTube channel College Humor?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. I think they're still around. You can still watch those videos.
They made some great parodies of Christian Bale's Batman, and one of them was when how he suspends. I think his actor name is Mark Boone Jr. The crooked cop. He suspends him and pulls him up after he buys the falafel.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
What's the matter? You don't like falafel?
Yeah, and he's talking to him. So in this video, he gets pulled up to the top of the building. He comes face to face with Batman. He's like, "Where is the trigger?" And he's like, he's upside down. He's like, "Wait, what? That's your voice?" He's like, "What do you mean?" And so they keep going back and forth. Him doing different voices, and he's like, "No, that's not going to work."
I think I've seen this. Yeah.
And then he gets to the end. He's like, "I'm sorry. And he goes, wait, what is it?" He goes, "What?" He's like, "Try that." He's like, what, this?" He's like, yeah, go with that. And he's like, "Where is the trigger?" And he's like, yeah, that's it. And then he goes, "Swear to me." And then he drops him, and he's like, "Ah," and they do a very long scene with where they have him play Batman. They have another actress play, I can't remember, Katya, I believe was her name, and then Bane. And it was kind of an inappropriate humor, but it was very well put together and very funny. So if I know you guys are big Batman fans, so if you haven't seen those, I suggest you watch them. But yeah,
I've already got it pulled up.
Oh, dude.
It says Dropout. Did they change their name?
I don't know. I remember when I watched it most recently, I don't think it was on their channel. It was like off of it was still the same video, but it was off of like someone else's channel.
Yeah. This one's got like 15 million subscribers. I've never heard of them.
But yeah, it's that end. Well, not towards the end scene when Batman gets stabbed and he's on the floor with Bane, and then and then what's her name is confessing that she's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Very, if you haven't watched that, I recommend it. But I'm sorry, I digress. Bottom line, I was getting at Tom Hardy is a phenomenal actor, and if you like gangster stuff and you haven't seen Mobland, I extremely recommend it.
He's done several gangster movies, though, hadn't he? I mean, he's been in a bunch of different ones.
Well, he played Alfie Solomons, a Orthodox Jewish gangster, in the Netflix series Peaky Blinders with Cillian Murphy. Okay. He's actually also going to be reprising that role this year, because after they did I believe it was the 6th season of Peaky Blinders, they're doing a Netflix movie. And I think part of the reason why they did that is because one of the main actors, Helen McCrory, I believe was her name, she passed away, and the show kind of lost some of its
panache.
Yeah, because she was pivotal to how the stories played out. So they're making a movie, and Tom Hardy has been in, I don't want to say every season, but at least 4 or 5 out of the 6, and he plays a very funny, very kind of wacky, demented gangster, but he's an Orthodox Jew in England, and he owns like I don't know, it's just great. If you like Tom Hardy and you like gangster stuff, Peaky Blinders, and if you've seen Oppenheimer and you like Cillian Murphy, you also need to watch Peaky Blinders, because he plays a phenomenal gangster. I
see Helen Mirren is in Mobland also. And Helen Mirren is in not Yellowstone, but 1923.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. And she's great in that show too.
She's one of my dad's crushes. Like,
oh really?
Oh yeah, from back in the day. He's like, oh, Helen Mirren. He's like, ooh, my dad's 73, so
right. Yeah.
He likes Helen Mirren. So,
yeah. But Mobland's also on Paramount.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at.
I forgot about that. So if you guys are still subscribed, you might want to dive in.
I am.
Only one season.
Right.
I'll check it out. I mean, I like Tom Hardy. See, I think Tom Hardy was a great Venom. I don't care what people say. I really like the Venom series. I know I get crapped on all the time for that, but but yeah, I thought he played a fantastic Venom. So as far as Peaky Blinders goes, I tried watching that and I couldn't get into it. I mean,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. I had a coworker who was really heavily into the show, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. And I think I watched 2 episodes and I just could not get into it. It was really hard for me to get into it.
Well, the good thing, a couple things. The good thing is the seasons, I think, only have like 6 or 7 episodes for each season, number one.
Sure.
And then number two, if you watched and you liked Breaking Bad, you know that from
I
watching
love
that,
Breaking Bad.
well, then you know from watching that show, if you get 2 episodes into that show, you're like, this is stupid. And then you continue to watch it, and all of a sudden, just boom, something happens and it sucks you in. I talked to so many people where they're like, it's kind of like, it starts off slow, and then all of a sudden, just something at some point.
See, I don't know. Breaking Bad grabbed me from episode 1, and man, I came into Breaking Bad long time after it had run, and just like I did the same thing with Walking Dead. Walking Dead was over halfway through before I finally started getting into Walking Dead, but Breaking Bad was completely done. It had been done for a few years, and I just happened to come across it one night, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what this is like. And me and my wife watched it together, and we're like, oh my gosh, this show's incredible. And we binged the whole freaking thing.
See, that's funny, because most people I talk to, they're like, yeah, I had to rewatch it because I watched like the first few episodes or half of the first season, and I think it's boring. And then once they get past that point, I think you just didn't get past that point with Peaky Blinders, because it evolves. Like, it starts in the 1920s, and throughout the series, you actually get into the 1940s. So there's a lot of change. There's a lot of transition. There's a lot of, and it's not for everyone too. Maybe you just don't and won't like it. I mean, that's fine.
Sure.
That happens.
Well,
too.
now that being said, as much as I like Breaking Bad, I liked Better Call Saul even better, much more better. Cheers.
Much more better. I just finished my drink.
Than Breaking Bad. But I liked the Saul character. I thought he was great. I loved him in Breaking Bad. So for him to get his spinoff series was just incredible. And I loved that whole behind, backstory on him and how he became who he was and everything. It was just fantastic. It was a great series. So
no, that was, excuse me, that was, I'm coughing into the microphone. Geez, that's smart. No, I agree. It was definitely a good series. I don't know if I would say if I liked it better. I'd say that even though, it's kind of like same universe, right?
Yeah.
But different stories. I'd say they're both great, but I wouldn't say that one is better over the other. I personally can't say that. But it was in Bob Odenkirk, and I mean, look at him now, and he's been in those. He was played Nobody, and now there's the new Nobody 2 coming out. I mean, who would have thought a guy who's mainly like a comedian and writer for Saturday Night Live is all of a sudden now like this, goes to be this quirky illegal lawyer to like a badass ex army something or other. He's talk about range and a transition throughout a career.
Yes.
So
very much so. Well, hey, we've got we are an hour and a half in, everybody. So we are way past our normal time. This is a great conversation.
Sorry, I didn't mean to digress there towards the end.
No, that's all part of mob stuff. And that's kind of what we're talking about. So it's all good. It's all connected, for lack of a better term, and stuff like that. Love it. So, so last thoughts on Tulsa King. Worth watching, worth paying for the subscription to watch.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would say so.
I
would say
agree.
so.
I would agree.
Yep.
I would highly recommend this series. Like Jacob said, even if you're not a Sylvester Stallone fan, I say give this series a chance, because you get to really see Sylvester Stallone's acting chops in this. And again, it's got a great cast. Everybody in it is fantastic. So highly recommend this show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody, if you made this far, thank you so much for hanging out with us, talking all kinds of mob stuff related to Tulsa King and the show, and really enjoyed it. Real quick, if you want to find Jacob, you will find him at kingdomcomics.com, KEYNGDOMCOMICS.com. And you can find there, he's there with also another Geoffrey Cotton, who we've had on the show as well. And but there you can find his comics there. Please check him out. Also, you can get there from our website, www.2geeksmic.com. That's the number 2, GEEKSMIC.com. That's kind of our hub. You can get to everything else from there. there. But if you want to reach out to us, also Mike's really good about checking the emails, show@twogeeksmike.com. If you got a request or something you want to talk about, please let us know. If you want to hit our merch page, we've got some fun little merch here and there. And it's twogeeksmikemerch.com, the number 2 GEEKSMICMERCH.com. If you want to support us, if you want to, we greatly appreciate it. We just use the money just to pay for the stuff we need to do the show. I did used to make jokes about Mike's Lamborghini, but repossessed everybody. So we need your support on the show to get it back. I'm just kidding. So ko-fi.com/2, the number 2 GEEKS, 2 Geeks. So really appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Mike, anything else?
Just that if you made it this far, please make sure and go and like and subscribe to us on Facebook, because I try to post memes there, funny memes. Sometimes I steal them, sometimes I make them. Like I said, everything's fair in love and podcasting. And also that's where we would share any information about upcoming live episodes. We go live. Speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest because I don't like math. And we are live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Rumble, by the way.
I'm live on 2 Geeks and a Microphone, in case it...
I love it.
All right. Anything else? Last words, funny anecdotes?
Just that it was awesome to be back. I love coming back, Stephen.
Great.
Finally, you two.
Finally, yes.
We made the we both made the journey together.
Yes.
Everyone be sure that you, as they say at the end, be sure to tip your waitress. It's the morning, so be sure to tip your barista. No, thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to many more. You guys are great. And, I appreciate all the support. And, I just, this is just something I really enjoy. And I thank you guys for always letting me be a part.
Absolutely.
Right.
Love having you on the show. We're going to have you back, though, because we have more. Maybe Mobland may be the one to do next. Just saying.
Don't tease me with a good time.
Yeah. All right, Mike. It's all you, man.
All right. So with that said, please do not Steven skip this episode because we are much more better than the rest.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us today on the 2 Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,